to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a makeup tutorial for you guys. Now it's one of those days where I just felt like sitting in front of the camera and doing my makeup. I was thinking that I was gonna film a video for you guys, and most of the time when I do film a video, few of you guys always ask me to, you know, recreate the look, or sometimes most of the comments would be about the makeup that I'm wearing and not so much about what I'm talking about. So I figured to save myself some time, I would film exactly what I'm going to be wearing on my face for the video that I'm about to film. I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a specific look in mind, but I did feel like being very smoky, very blown out, and I wanted to use these eyeshadows, and these are MAC eyeshadows. This is the palette. It's one of those ones that you create at MAC, but there's some shades in here that I had never experimented with before, or these are just shades that I don't really use very often. But this is one of my favorite makeup palettes that I do have in my collection. Once again, it's a palette that you create at MAC. It's not like a ready-made palette, but I mean, how gorgeous does that look? Oh, my ring light is trying to, there it is. It's just such a beautiful mix of colors, and I absolutely love those colors. So you know what, this is the look that I came up with, and I'm so obsessed with this look right now. I'm kind of regretting the fact that it's dark outside, or it's getting pretty late, because this is a look that I would want to keep on for a few hours. But this is the look. I hope you guys do enjoy it, and stay tuned for the tutorial, and don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, like, turn your notifications on, all of that good stuff if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so to get started on this tutorial, I'm gonna first start by priming my face, and I'm gonna be using the Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. This is in the radiant version, but I got it in my BoxyCharm, and I've been trying it, and actually it's been working for me. So I'm gonna use two foundations in this tutorial, only because the color, what is this called? Covergirl. The Covergirl foundation was just a little bit too dark for me, and I tried to lighten it with the Lancome one, but it didn't do what it should. So I'm looking a little bit darker, and I'm still darkening myself right now because I am gonna cream contour with this Makeup Forever contour stick. I am going to be highlighting a lot later because I do want to bring my features, or some of my features, forward. But I'm just doing all these steps first because yeah, I will be using a lot of concealer. The first one I'm going to use is by Kevyn Aucoin. This is a Sensual Skin Enhancer, and yeah, it's my favorite one. And I'm actually going to mix it today though, because I find that even though it's really, my skin has been really dry, especially under the eyes, this will probably work better, but it still creases if I bring it right up to my lash line. So I always try to go in with another concealer, and the one that I'm using today, I didn't show it, but it's the Colourpop concealer. I use the shade Medium Tan because it's sort of like a good, it's not as light as the Kevyn Aucoin one, so it's giving me a little bit of a shade between my concealer and foundation, so it's just going to help the blend in a little bit better. And yeah, as I said, I did kind of go crazy with the concealer today and the contouring, but I was just having fun with makeup, and this is what happens. So I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush just to blend everything, you know, as much as possible, because we are going to use powder, and I'm going to use the Maybelline ones because those are the ones that I've been loving lately. So I use a lighter one to set my concealer, and I'm using a darker one to set the pretty much everywhere else. I'm going to be doing my brows now, and I've actually been doing them a little differently lately. So I use number 5 on this brush. I think it's from the Brow Bar. I got it in my BoxyCharm as well. BoxyCharm has been so good to me. Well, every month I find something that has incorporated itself into my everyday makeup, and this little brush is a savior because I pretty much, the brow product is great as well, but I'm just gonna fill in just the sparse areas. I'm not looking for anything too strong, just the sparse areas. And as you guys could see here, I'm not even going with a lot of concealer. I'm just gonna use what's left on the brush just to clean up a little bit. For my base, or my eyeshadow base, I'm going to be using Constructivist Paint Pot by MAC. Now, I heard that this was going out of, not out of stock, like discontinued. And I hunted it down. I found it at a store in Canada called The Bay. I'm not sure where in the States that you guys could find this. It's probably available at some MAC stores, but I wanted to have this base, so I hunted it down and I found it. Now the brush that I'm using right here had a little bit of black on it, and I started blending on one side and realized that there was black in it, so I had to do it on the other side to make them even. So yeah, anyways, another product from another BoxyCharm box. This is Vintage's black eyeliner, and I'm just going to use this to tightline the upper and lower. I didn't show the upper because I look crazy doing the upper and my eyes always water, but it's necessary. Anyways, look at this palette, guys. I created at MAC, or I just kind of took some of my MAC eyeshadows and put it in this palette, and this is what I got. But I'm going to start off, I think the shade I'm using is Coral, either Coral or Rule, but I'm going to use that on a MAC 224 brush, and I'm just going to put that on the inner part of the crease. Look at that, just the inner part, blend it out a little bit to the outer, but not so much up on the outer part of the crease. Then I'm going to take another MAC shade called I'm Into It, and I'm going to pack that on the outer crease. I know this is moving a little fast, but I'm going to slow it down for you guys. This is another shade by MAC. It's one of their new shades as well. It's called Newsflash, and I'm just going to kind of sandwich my Into It shade with the Rule from MAC. I think it's Rule or Coral, I don't remember. I'll leave it in the description box. And yeah, this brush actually is beautiful. I don't think MAC sells this brush again, but it's called a 222 brush. I got it at one of their warehouse sales. I'm gonna go back to that brush, and here I definitely am using some Rule. I think I mixed it with a little bit of Coral, and I'm just gonna use that as a blending shade. Then I'm gonna go back in with the 222 brush, and I'm gonna use I'm Into It and bring that into the crease, as well as strengthening or deepening the outer crease as well, which is pretty much making it darker. I don't know why I use the word strengthening. No, darkening and deepening the outer crease, but also bringing that shade in the inner crease as well. And now I'm going to be using Makeup Forever's Matte M100 eyeshadow, and yeah, I'm just going to make that outer crease stronger. No, I'm going to make it darker. For the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with the black first, and I'm going to pretty much pack it on the lower lash line. I'm going to set the waterline and also add some below the lash line. I'm trying to focus on this brush by Urban Decay. I think I got it in their holiday eyeshadow palette, I think, but it's just become, once again, in my everyday makeup routine, and it just works for packing eyeshadow onto the lower crease, and that's what I'm using to pack Into It onto the lower crease. I'm gonna mix those two shades together, which is Newsflash, and I think that was Rule, and I'm just gonna use it to blend out and smoke out the lower lash line. For brow bone highlight, I actually wanted to use my powder that I use under my eyes to pretty much set the bit of concealer I use under the brow, as well as to clean up and to highlight the brow bone. Can you guys hear my neighbor's dog barking? Anyways, I'm just going back in, adding more I'm Into It to the crease just to make sure everything is nice and blended. And I'm also going to add some more powder to the lower lash line. This one is a shape-in powder or a highlight powder by Makeup Forever, one of their artist palettes. I'm going to use this shade from Buxom Cosmetics. I think it's called Rose Gold. And I'm just going to use that to pack on the lid. A gorgeous duochrome eyeshadow, and all the eyeshadows in that palette is actually duochrome, but I wanted something a little more vibrant. So I am going to go back in with this Pigment by MAC. It's called Old Gold, and I'm going to spritz my brush with a little Fix Plus, and I'm just going to pack that over where I just put this Buxom eyeshadow. And I'm also going to be using this brush. I didn't cut the crease because that's not the look that I'm personally going for, but I'm just going to pack this eyeshadow, but I'm also going to use the brush to kind of neaten the crease as well. You guys are going to see what I'm doing in a second. So I really loved the way it looked, but I felt it needed something. And I remember that I had a glitter palette that I took out, and I think that I just wanted to see if there was a shade in there that I could pack over that sparingly. I love the shades, I love the way it looked, but I just wanted something a little bit more. So I used that glitter, and these glitters almost have a built-in base to it, but it's best to use your fingers. But because I couldn't reach the inner part, I had to use a little brush, but they're best used with your fingers. So I'm just gonna sparingly add a bit of glitter to this look, even though it's not going to show up on camera, which totally breaks my heart, but hopefully you guys get the part, or get the point, I should say. Anyways, I put on my lashes off camera because yeah. For contour, I'm going to be using Blunt by MAC from this palette. I didn't need much, but you guys know I love to contour. And then for blush, I'm going to use a bit of Coppertone by MAC. For highlight, I wanted to stick with the same kind of golden tone that we had on the eyes. So I'm using this, it's called Beam Blush. It's a highlighter by MAC. It's one of their new-ish highlighters. And it has the same undertone as Old Gold Pigment by MAC. It's very, very, very yellow. Almost exactly like rose. Why do I keep saying rose gold? Sorry, Old Gold. I don't know how else to describe it, but if you're darker skin tone like my complexion and deeper, this is such a gorgeous highlighter, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out. It was sold out for so long, but I managed to get my hands on it a few months ago, and yeah, it's one of my go-to highlighters, but I felt like it went really well with this look. And I always set my brows with brow gel once I finish all the powders on my face, because then I can set them without thinking that powders are going to get into them. Guys, look at my brows, because they're not strong. They're nicely shaped, I think, in my opinion, but they're not like so dark. I've just been loving the way I've been doing them lately. But anyways, I'm going to go into this Natasha Denona palette and use that yellow gold shade, which is going to like amplify the inner part of my eyes, which is just my probably one of my favorite parts of doing my makeup is this part. And did you guys see how much I put? Like, do you see? And I'm still putting more. I love this part of doing my makeup, so I went crazy with that part, I must admit. For lips, I'm gonna start off with this random lip liner in my collection. I've had it for years, and I've been looking for a lip liner that is not as dark as Cork, and this one seems to fit the bill. So I'm going to use it first, and the first lipstick I'm going to use is a new one that I have by MAC called Really Me. I knew I wanted a nude lip, but I honestly didn't know exactly what color I wanted, and this is sort of like a very cool toned pinky purpley lipstick, to be honest. It's weird, but anyways, it was too light, so I went in with a new one that I got as well, called A Girl's Got Needs. I think this one was from the Nicki Minaj nude lipsticks she came out with, and I added another liquid lipstick on top of that just because I wasn't feeling it, and then I had a gloss on top, which I think it's Boy Bait. Guys, this nude lip took every color that I had, but this is the final look. I hope you guys did enjoy this makeup tutorial. Leave your comments down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.